We just touched down in Orangeburg, South Kakalaki, home of the HBCU national champion, South Carolina State Bulldogs.
Hey, I'm glad to be here in the Burg, as they call it for the locals here. Hey, we got a great football game. We got a tease and preview. But ultimately, you know what? We're going to give it up to you like we always do here on Black College Live.
Yeah, this is a Gimme 5 show with Jay Walker and Tiffany. Yeah. You gon' have to give me 5 fingers on it right now. Wait until they see the strength and here to win. This Black College Live, I'ma need 5 on it. If they put overtime on it, lights out. You know how I run, this ain't for fun. I've been going done, they be still
Man, is that what y'all doing? Is that how y'all feel?
Yeah, this is what we're about here at South Carolina State.
SC. Okay.
Love the energy, and you know why it's so lit on campus right now. It is the game of the year in the MEAC. South Carolina State hosting North Carolina Central. Woo, all the marbles.
Oh, are the Eagles going to come in here and soar? The Eagles are going to come in here and soar, or are they going to get bit by them Bulldogs?
We will find out. We will find out soon enough. Hey, we have a great show on tap for you today. Obviously, we are going to talk about the big game, and Coach Oliver Buddy Pugh stopping by the set as well, kind enough to grace us to give us maybe a little insight on what we can expect for the game.
The dean of coaches in all of HBCU football, longest tenure. You know something I looked up? South Carolina State has won more MEAC championships than any other school out there.
18, ladies and gentlemen, 18.
South Carolina State got 2 straight ballers in the NFL right now. When you talk about Darius Leonard and Javon Hargrave.
Oh, yeah. And how about Jacoby Durant, the All-American, the Defensive Player of the Year last season? Guess what? He's joining the ranks as well as a rookie with the LA Rams. All right, so there's a lot of pride, a lot of history and football tradition here at South Carolina State, and we will jump into a number of things. But first, we have to catch you up on some of the HBCU headlines. Some noise being made out of Arkansas Pine Bluff as they split ways with their head coach, Doc Gamble. Now they are searching for someone to lead the Golden Lions.
I mean, what's up with that? I mean, I'm trying to figure out. It was just in 2021 that Doc Gamble had Arkansas Pine Bluff competing for the SWAC championship. I just want to know, did he forget how to coach that quick? Short memory, but it's that time of year where coaches are on the hot seat. Unfortunately, that's the profession we're in. But I think Doc Gamble, good man, did a good job at Arkansas Pine Bluff. I think we'll hear from him again.
All right, Jay, we have to give it up for our Star Watch Player of the Week. In our HBCU headlines, it was Davius Richard, who had a career night against Morgan State on a nationally televised game. 6 touchdowns, a career best as they spanked the Bears.
Hey, do you think these folks behind us know who Davius Richards is?
Oh.
They better ask somebody. Davius Richards, quarterback for North Carolina Central, coming off his best performance. If he plays like that on this game coming up, uh-oh. I'm just saying. Uh-oh.
See, the Bulldogs fans say, we don't want no problems, okay? But see, keeping with quarterback play, let's also highlight Shedeur Sanders, who is up for the Heisman and perhaps the Walter Payton Award as well. He went off again against Bethune-Cookman, 5 touchdowns. Second time he's done that this season.
I mean, these folks right here, they're brutal. So because they played Jackson State last year's Cricket Celebration Bowl, they haven't forgot. So they're not showing respect for nobody. It's Bulldogs or bust down here. But Shedeur Sanders is having a fantastic season as he continues his quest for the Payton Award and possibly the Heisman Trophy.
All right, let's travel on down to Columbia, South Carolina, the capital, where Benedict's Chennis Berry and his club are 7-0, first time in school history.
And you think maybe they'll give a little love for the Division II school right up the street, Benedict College? Y'all show some love for Benedict. Undefeated, 7-0, no threat to you all. Chennis Berry doing a great job, and I think he knows he's doing a great job.
Let's hear from Coach Berry to see about what he thinks about their great start.
We're super excited about our season thus far, but the job's not finished. You know, every day we just want to go 1-0. We want to be the best we can be every day, and our young men have bought into that. We don't worry about the end goal. We worry about focusing on the moment and being the best we can be every day. So where we are right now currently, we're 7-0. But ultimately, at the end of the day, our guys have a 1-0 mentality.
All right, Jay, you mentioned a team that they didn't want to hear about at all, but they won 31-10, was it, in last year's Celebration Bowl? So South Carolina State feeling really good. However, in your power rankings, where does North Carolina Central fall? We'll have to find out.
All right, Tiff. We talked about the big game. Let's see what the coaches have to say.
Yeah, I mean, it's only 6 teams in the conference, so you can't lose a game. And, I think they're the best team in the conference right now. And it's our job to knock them off. So, yes, this is a championship caliber game and not looking ahead, or at any other school. But we have to handle our business this weekend to have a chance to be in a conversation about a championship come November.
Central really looks good. That's a top-notch football team, and I need to spank old Trey Oliver. He's up there trying to put a team together, trying to whoop us.
Come to South Carolina State University. Here you'll find unlimited possibilities for wherever you want your college career to take you. Since 1896, we've trained generations of scholars and leaders, building a legacy of excellence. Explore our stellar academic programs, including nuclear engineering, military science, biology, education, computer science, agribusiness, and more. Enjoy student-focused activities and organizations and discover your passion. Dare to be great. Enroll now and join our legacy of excellence at South Carolina State University.
Time now for our Cricket Celebration Bowl Power Rankings.
Let's get it going, home girl. Let's send it down to Baton Rouge, Southern University. Head coach Eric Dooley, so much to be proud for. The Jaguars with an impressive victory over Alcorn State. Number 4, I keep saying you got to stop sleeping on the job Bubba McDowell is doing down at Prairie View. The Panthers are rolling right now and are a direct contender for the SWAC West title. Number 3, Florida A&M. Head coach Willie Simmons' bunch continues to improve, winning week after week, showing that they are one of the premier teams in HBCU football. Number 2, I think North Carolina Central thinks they are the best team in HBCU football. Head coach Trey Oliver has a star quarterback in Davius Richard, and the defense is getting the job done. North Carolina Central is number 2 because Jackson State is just that good. The number 1 team in HBCU football. Coach Prime has a defense that's stingy and a quarterback that is up for the Heisman Trophy Award as well as the Peyton Award. Not quite making it, but on the bubble, it's South Carolina State University. If the Bulldogs can pull off an upset at Central, look for them to crack the top 5.
This is where the formula ends and the magic begins. We take the mold, shake the mold, and break the mold. From late nights in the gym to later nights in the library, we grind. Because if you think greatness is a game, think again. Here, nothing shines unless we all do.
Welcome back to Black College Live here on the campus of South Carolina State University. You know, they've got a long storied tradition of producing outstanding football players. And let's take a look at one of the legends of South Carolina State as we get this NFL Films preview about the career of Harry Carson.
Now, this is a book that you wrote, Point of Attack. Mm-hmm. Here's a quote. "There's a part of me that's Robert Duvall in Apocalypse Now."
Oh, yeah, I love that. That's the way I always sort of looked at myself on the football field. Being somewhat cocky, being somewhat arrogant, and having confidence in yourself, but also in the guys who you go to battle with.
His rallying cry was, "Let's go." He wanted to lead the charge. It wasn't him sending anyone any place.
60 minutes, all we got for 60 minutes. All right, let's go.
He's a good leader, good player, but he was awful at calling the coin toss. He was absolutely awful. He had some streaks. I'm not kidding you. He'd go 0 for the season. Hell, we used to have meetings. "Hey, Harry, we want the ball first this week. Can you think you can win one? Should it be tails?" Even Parcells started getting into it.
You're taking the worst coin toss guy in the league out there. He can't win anything.
Even when the other team
when they call it, he can't win anything. He never has been able to. That's one of the reasons he won't go to Canton. He couldn't win the coin toss.
Canton, Ohio is the home of the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and linebacker Harry Carson did make it there in the summer of 2006. Carson's enshrinement marked the end of what could be called a reluctant journey, seeing as he once requested that his name be removed from the Hall of Fame ballot. He never wanted to play in New York, and in college, he was a defensive lineman. The only thing that mattered to the Giants when they drafted Carson in 1976 was that he report to New York 4 weeks prior to the start of training camp. That was when the Giants told Carson that he was being moved to a new position by an assistant coach named Marty Schottenheimer.
Marty brought me to camp playing a position that normally was reserved for white guys at the middle linebacker position.
In the mid-'70s?
In the mid-'70s, yeah. 1976. Mm-hmm. I remember having to sit down with a psychologist, and he gave me a series of tests to determine whether I had the aptitude mentally to make the transition from down lineman to linebacker. I listened to Ray Nitsky and Dick Buckets talk about wanting to rip people's heads off. I've never been a player like that. I've always been very gentle, very caring, and really a softie. But to be able to play the middle linebacker position, you have to take on a different persona.
Carson became a ferocious run defender, particularly at the goal line.
You say Riggins was a great goal line runner. Marcus Allen, great goal line runner. They had the instincts. Once they got near the goal line, they smelled it. Harry Carson was like that on defense. He could feel where the play was coming. He could get in there. He had the greatest goal line instincts that I've ever seen.
For 13 years, Carson patrolled the middle of the field for the Giants. And when necessary, he was also an enforcer in their locker room.
Giants rush 5. Hilger rolling right now.
We were stinking up the place against Detroit at home.
15. He's going in for a Detroit touchdown.
When we were going in at halftime, I just blew up. And I said, if you don't want to play, stay in the locker room.
In the second half, the Lions gained 13 yards, and the Giants won 30-10.
After the game, we went into the interview room, which at halftime was the defensive meeting room. There was this huge hole on the chalkboard, and it looked like it was very fresh damage. So afterwards, I walked out and asked one of the players, "Where'd that hole come from?" He goes, he points to Carson. He goes,
Carson could always get his teammates' attention, but still, he was rarely the Giants linebacker who stood out.
Harry Carson, during the Giants' prime, played next to Lawrence Taylor. It was hard for anybody to get recognized playing next to Lawrence Taylor because he was arguably the greatest ever on the defensive side.
So for a player who labored in the shadows, it's fitting that his greatest single-game performance came on a night when the lights went out.
I just thought it was just a technical malfunction of the lights.
Everyone get a candle.
Credited with 25 tackles, Carson provided the Giants' lone bright spot in defeat. But that wasn't unusual early in his career, when the Giants' most memorable games were losses.
Under 30 seconds left in the game. And Pizarczyk fumbles the football. It's picked up by Herman Edwards. 15, 10, 5, touchdown Eagles!
2 years later, Carson became so disgusted with his own performance against the Eagles that number 53 nearly called it a career.
Here we are on Monday Night Football, and I'm missing all these tackles. We lost the game, and I refused to take my paycheck. Not only that, I went to Ray Perkins and I said, I don't think I'm helping the ball club, so I think I'm going to retire.
We all had thought he'd taken leave of his senses. George Young literally had to call him into the office and convince him, you have to take your paycheck, Harry.
Carson returned, but little changed in New York until 1983, when new head coach Bill Parcells began remodeling the Giants. When Parcells decided to change his own look, Carson let him hear about it.
Parcells, as you know, had a weight problem. So he would always fluctuate in his weight. But this was one training camp where Parcells did pretty good. He had lost a significant amount of weight, and he was wearing these shorts that we affectionately call Daisy Dukes. Now, everybody was thinking it, but nobody had the audacity to say anything except Harry Carson. And Harry stands up and yells out, "Bill, please, you haven't lost that much weight that you can expose yourself to us." Bill was so embarrassed because he knew it was correct. By the way, we never saw those Daisy Dukes ever again.
Under Parcells, the Giants grew into NFC heavyweights. By 1986, New York had the Super Bowl in its sights. But leading up to the Giants' first playoff game, Parcells' top lieutenant discovered that his troops had cold feet.
We were all in the locker room debating what long johns we were going to wear, how many sleeves. Harry walks through the midst of the locker room with a cutoff T-shirt and his jersey and his shoulder pads. And as we looked at him, we knew that our debate was really childish because we had everything we needed to compete right in our hearts. And that was the 49-3 game against the San Francisco 49ers.
The playoff win was followed by the now famous celebration that Carson's Giants introduced to the world. In 1986, no one was safe from the bucket. Carson doused offensive linemen and his defensive coordinator. And in the final minutes of the Giants' victory in Super Bowl 21, Carson got Parcells with Gatorade, and then with water. After winning the Super Bowl, the Giants were invited to the White House, where President Ronald Reagan turned the tub on Carson. Or so he thought.
I looked down in the bucket, and the bucket was still half full. And I thought to myself, Secret Service agents, big guns, should I or should I not? And I said, I should.
In 1986, the Giants were crowned NFL champions for the first time in 3 decades. For their captain, a different kind of coronation had already occurred moments prior to the championship game.
Had dreams of playing in the Super Bowl, like when I was a kid, watching Green Bay and Kansas City. I'd take a T-shirt and put shoe polish on the T-shirt, and I'd be number 87, Willie Davis. And then all of a sudden, I'm there, Super Bowl. And Willie Davis is the honorary captain. I mean, he's out there to flip the coin. I knew a game like that, Phil might want to go out. George Martin was the other captain. George might want to go out. Bill was getting into his game mode, and that was strapping on his headset and everything. He said, go. I said, what about Phil? He said, go. I turned and I said, okay. So here I was walking out.
Alone.
And
the Giant captain, Harry Carson.
I look at the Broncos walking toward me, and I'm like, holy, this is like a gunfight, like a Western.
I really remember looking out there going, that looks cool. We got 1, they got 7. We know who our leader is. These guys are trying to figure it out.
As usual, Carson lost the toss.
Denver wins the toss.
But he discovered something that no coin could ever buy.
At that moment, I realized every guy who I played with, I was representing all of those guys. At the end of the day, that's the most important thing to me. When I knew I had the respect of the people who I played with and against, at that point, it really didn't matter about the Hall of Fame. As long as you walk away with the respect of your peers and the people who you played against, that's the most important thing that any player can have.
Harry Carson spent 12 years in the National Football League, all with the New York Giants. Carson played at South Carolina State from 1972 to 1976. And speaking about Bulldog players, how about this? South Carolina State has 4 members of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. They are Marion Motley, Deacon Jones, Harry Carson, and the newest one, Donnie Shell. Talking about Bulldogs, the head Bulldog is in the building. Tiff, what's up?
Hey, it's Coach Buddy Pugh. Hey, look, this thing is blocking us right now. It is casting a shadow. It is the Cricket Celebration Bowl trophy from a season ago. You brought it home. Coach, hey, look, I think we might have to get this one removed. How's it feel to have this standing in front of you?
It feels great. It's all ours, too, so we're going to see if we can get it. We're going to try to get another one. So that's the big deal at this point.
All right, Coach Pugh, we appreciate you being here in preparation for a huge game. Everyone knows the implications. Last year, you all were in a similar situation in terms of record. Then you went off and went undefeated in the MEAC. What's it going to take to have that same magic this season, starting with North Carolina Central?
Well, we got to beat Central first off, and the best part about the deal is we got them right here in front of our fans. So you guys give us a big hand here. Let's get ready. We're going to need all of you guys to get this done, but we got to stop the run. We got to run the football. We got to play better overall than we played earlier this year, but this team is not going to be scared. They'll get out there and they'll play it. I tell you, I think we'll be fine.
You've been around a lot of football, the all-time winningest coach here at South Carolina State in your 21st season. What are the key ingredients for a championship-level team?
Well, you got to play good on defense first. Defense wins championships, and we got to figure a way to stop that number 11 guy. I think they call him something Richard, and we figure out that we've got to see if we can stop that guy from running the football on us first, and then if we can do that, then we go on about the fact of seeing if we can stop the throw game. But more than anything else, is defense wins championships, and I've got some guys out there that I'm thinking I'm going to get after his panty tomorrow.
Well, I'm thinking about B.J. Davis and Jablonski Greene and Patrick Godbold among those defenders who are going to try to attack the quarterback. Meanwhile, I'm going to ask you a last question here.
Okay.
And how do you have the sustained success that you've had here at South Carolina State for more than 2 decades?
Well, I think it's a consistent routine. We do things over and over exactly the same way, and our guys know how they do those things. So our guys are fundamentally sound. They know how to play the game. They're great characters, first off, and then they're good football players. They're good students. They're good all-around people. And those guys work together to become good football players and good football teams.
All right, Coach Pugh, we appreciate you taking the time, and good luck in the big game between North Carolina Central and South Carolina State, the defending MEAC champions, might I add. We appreciate your time. But don't go anywhere. Why? Because the Alpha Xi chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. Ladies!
At the core of us all burns a passion for greatness. It's the rhythm of our hearts, the desire to ascend to greater heights, the drive to persevere and push beyond expectations. At North Carolina Central University, we fan that flame in an innovative and inclusive community driven by a relentless pursuit of excellence. It's here at NCCU, in the heart of Research Triangle, that you will soar with the Eagles and discover what's central to you.
Go white, the blue, SCSU, put up hands in hands, this is what you do. LSSSCCCC, SSSU, how about you do? Go white, the blue, SCSU, put up hands in hands, this is what you do. LSSSCCC, SSSU, how about you do?
I know.
Hey!
I know.
Give it up, give it up.
I know. I know.
I like to see. And then they're like, Okay. All right.
All
We
right,
appreciate it. Thank you so much to the South Carolina State cheer squad. Meanwhile, they represent a number of student athletes on campus. We got to give a little shout out, a little love to those who duality, little
So can I
student
start
and
off?
athlete. Okay, go ahead.
What's up? Let me give it up to the softball team. Softball, where you at?
Show love to softball. How about volleyball's in the house as well? Now, I don't know if you realize that Dallas James is a 7-footer, but he stands out amongst the crowd.
That's that short dude
You
I
got to
just
give
seen
it up
around
for the
here.
basketball team, the men's basketball
the boys
team.
in here, the basketball
Hey, look,
team.
let me tell you about Dallas James. 4.0 GPA, electrical engineering. Let's shout that out.
Oh, man,
The
I'm giving it
student
up.
And the athlete.
Oh, big time. Way to make your mama proud. Make your mama proud on that one.
Now, I'd be remiss if I didn't say something about the track and field squad as well. The track and field team, where y'all at?
Bowling's in the house as well. So
Wait a minute. Shout out for bowling.
Oh, that's right. People don't know
That's me.
Tiffany was on a
That's
bowling
me.
scholarship at Florida A&M. How'd you do it?
Ooh, you see that form, that follow through.
But student athletes, give yourself a round of applause. Thank y'all for the support here on Black College Live. Now, can I take them to school?
Go ahead. Let's hear what you got now, because week to week, you won't know what you're gonna come up with, and you'll give me 5, Jay.
So this is my Gimme 5, right? So y'all tell me if I got my list right. Y'all can tell if I got my list right. I'm going to tell you the 5 things you need to know about South Carolina State football.
Okay.
All right? Y'all keep up with me? 5 things you need to know. Coming in at number 5, we said it earlier. This school has won 18 MEAC championships, the most in the conference. Number 4, I think the number 4 is ironic because they have 4 Pro Football Hall of Famers.
Okay, so far so good.
3, and I've always said this for years when I played against him as well, defensively, they always going to have a defense. Always one of the toughest defense out there. Offense is optional sometimes around here, but defense is mandatory here at South Carolina State. Number 2, we just heard from him. The winningest coach in South Carolina State football history, Oliver Buddy Pugh.
Yes.
And number 1 is one for a reason, because he was the very first African-American head coach in Division I football, South Carolina State legend, Willie Jeffries.
I like it. I like it.
And then on the bubble, I like this one. You don't like this one because you weren't a fan. When 100 is not enough, you have to have the marching 101.
Marching
give it up for the
101.
band. The marching 101.
All right, I have to know. I'm going to ask Ivy Hogue and Aubrey Brown, who are Mr. and Mrs. South Carolina State, and their royal court.
Come on
I'm
up.
going to ask you to come, and I'm just going to I just want you to chime in on whether you think Jay got it right.
I think Jay got it right.
Oh, boy.
Okay.
I don't have a
All right. Okay. That's one approval. Ivy, what do you think?
10s across the board for him.
Whoa! This is stunning. This is a stunning victory for you.
No cap. I got it right?
Yeah. It continues to try and it continues to fail. We appreciate you all being here. Hey, let's give some love to the ROTC program, which is huge on campus. Where y'all at? We have more Black College Live coming up. We got to preview the game, baby. Come back with us.
Come to South Carolina State University. Here you'll find unlimited possibilities for wherever you want your college career to take you. Since 1896, we've trained generations of scholars and leaders, building a legacy of excellence. Explore our stellar academic programs, including nuclear engineering, military science, biology, education, computer science, agribusiness, and more. Enjoy student-focused activities and organizations and discover your passion. Dare to be great. Enroll now and join our legacy of excellence at South Carolina State University.
Let's go!
All All right, Jay Walker, Tiffany Greene back here with you on Black College Live on the campus of South Carolina State University. So far, I've enjoyed myself. Jay, how about you?
I'm having a fantastic job. We know it's going to be a really big football game, but we have to recognize some outstanding academic accomplishments.
Indeed, indeed. And so we search each week for the fan of the week or student of the week. And this week we have two. Let's give it up for Chelsea Cole, a part of the volleyball team, and Eric Hill, a part of the track and field squad. Oh yeah, come get the merch. The merch.
We'll hook you
Thanks
up with
to
some
our
gear.
friends at Hoodies and Slides. You got to see the stripes, then you know that it's hoodies and
All right,
slides.
Tiff.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. I like giving away stuff.
I know you
It
do.
feels
You're nice and
good.
fluffy and all that. I'm here for a football game. I'm in town for a football game. When the lights come on and Jay Walker and Tiffany Greene in the building, you know the best game of the week is going to take place here in Orangeburg. Can we talk about that game?
Yeah, let's hear the coaches first talk about how big this game is.
You know, anytime you drop one at this point, you pretty much done. So, you know, I think we understand that this is our shot at this deal. If you don't, and if you win this week, then the next week it becomes the same thing.
Everybody gets on that bus. All 115 people that go to Orangeburg are going to have to bring their A game. Everybody. And, you know, it's going to be physical. It's going to start up in the trenches, and they're going to try to run the football on us. And, you know, obviously we're going to try to run the football on them as well.
Hey, Tiff. So those are the reasons why this game can go either way. You got to have a real champion in South Carolina State, defending HBCU national champion, and the new kids on the block, the number 2 ranked team in HBCU football, North Carolina Central.
All right, so that means we can't call the game because we're calling it.
We're calling it.
That means we got to call in Coach Chef. Coach Chef,
it's
come
time
on
to
to
eat.
the
It's
set.
time to
Yes,
eat.
yes,
It
yes.
is. It's right here.
All right, now
right
what
here.
we got, Coach Chef? We got some ribs. This is off the grill.
Oh yes, absolutely. Those are beef ribs, and that here is Ace Moses stewed tomatoes and grits.
And it's delicious.
And it's
Tomatoes.
delicious.
Don't knock it.
I hadn't done that
I was
before.
scared to try it, and I tried it, and it is delicious.
Absolutely.
And you know, South Carolina, Orangeburg is the very first place I ever had mustard-based barbecue
And
sauce.
got it all the way out of Orangeburg.
I'm going to tear it up. I'm going to tear it up.
Absolutely.
All right, Coach. Well, you're here. You got a pretty good record, even though you lost one this season.
He always got to throw that in. Just say I say I'm winning.
I don't
Just
understand.
say I'm winning.
I don't
and
understand.
Come back with it. Come back with
Because
it.
when he's
He's
perfect,
jealous.
he brags
He's
about
jealous.
it. When he's
He's
perfect, he's
jealous.
like, I haven't lost all year. Well, you missed one.
Yeah, I did.
Okay,
I
so
did.
so
I
now,
did.
the big game, South Carolina State, North Carolina Central. Who's going to win?
South Carolina State, this is my heart. This is my heart. This is my heart. I coached here for 9 years. This is my heart. But they're bringing a good quarterback coming down here from North Carolina.
We ain't worried about it.
Coach Chef.
Security.
You have it. Hey, look, you better check out Spike. Check out Spike right now. Spike is like, he's coming to get you. You gotta hold him back.
Security.
I can't cook.
Well, that's the game we got. Hey, it's been fun here from Orangeburg, South Carolina. Enjoy the action as North Carolina Central comes to town to take on the South Carolina State Bulldogs. Thanks for joining us here on Black College Live. We out.
You gon' have to give me 5 fingers on it right now. Waiting till they see the strength and hear the win. It's Black College Live, I'ma need 5 on it. If they put overtime on it, lights out. You know how I run, this ain't for fun. I've been going done, they be still trying to clone it. From FAMU to Grambling, I'm on it. Stand on it, marching 100 how you want it. Before you see me blitz, might see a twitch. They think it was a glitch, went from player to a owner.